Warren Buffett said that widespread fear is your friend as an investor because it serves up bargain purchases. All right. Widespread fear is your friend as an investor because it serves up bargain purchases. And with that said, it's very important that in times like this, when there's widespread fear, that you focus on what you can control. Okay. Don't focus on what you cannot control. Focus on what you can control. So some of the things that are in your control is what you buy, what media you consume, your emotions, your process, and your savings rates. Okay. So outside of your control are stock prices, interest rates, fund flows, the Fed, how other investors behave, analyst upgrades and downgrades, economic data, company news, macro events, what other investors say. There's so much noise right now. There's so much noise from pessimists. There's so much noise from bears. You need to just block that out. Okay. Stay objective, focus on what you can control. And in this video, I want to touch on the savings side of what you control, also the media. And I'll be telling you my plan of action for how I'm going to invest through this crisis. Okay. Believe it or not, this is not my first rodeo. So now is not the time to be fearful. You've heard the reports. Russia have launched their invasion into Ukraine, and there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of panic. There's a lot of worry. There's a lot of anxiety. All of these feelings is exactly how I felt, or what I felt people felt during the C-Roni crash. So take you back to March 2020. If you weren't in the market, the global economy shut down. They were locked down. Pretty much we're all in lockdown. There was an unknown virus taking as many lives. We were seeing death toll numbers rising every single day. Infection numbers were rising. It felt like the sky is falling. Okay. It felt like the end of the world. Of course, you know the rest of the story. It wasn't. And we continued higher. So we are now in another situation, another crisis where there's a lot of fear. Okay. There's a lot of panic. We're seeing a huge sell-off in the pre-markets right now. Investors are scared, and it's understandable. But I do want to say that now is not the time to be fearful. Okay, so before I go any further, I just want to say that, my prayers, I'm praying for the innocent in this situation. So the innocent people in Ukraine, the innocent people in Russia, there's innocent people on both sides. Please keep yourself and your family safe. That's priority. All right. And out of respect of my Ukraine audience, I believe it or not, I have people in Ukraine that watch my YouTube channel. And out of respect for those people, the live stream that I plan to do of Open Door earnings call tonight, I won't be doing it. I don't feel right with the images that I've seen of missiles flying over people's heads, just horrific images that I've seen. I don't feel right coming on doing a live stream and, not being myself during the live stream of Open Doors earnings call. So that will not happen. I'm sorry if you feel disappointed, but personally, it doesn't feel right doing that, knowing that a few of my audience members, their safety is at risk. And then I'm there trying to be smiling, happy about earnings. Doesn't feel right. So I'm going to cancel the live stream. But of course, I will do an earnings review. I've spoken with Tyler, who was the analyst that came on in January to talk about Open Door. We're both going to come on and do an earnings review afterwards. Okay. So that's that, right? Now, the next thing I wanted to say is my plan of action. Okay. How are we going to invest during this period? My plan of action is first and foremost to ensure that my family and my loved ones are secured financially. Okay. So before I even think about putting any more money into the market, priority for me is to ensure that my family and my loved ones are safe from a financial and also from a health point of view. And the reason why I say that is because this war that's brewing will not only just affect Ukraine or Russia. Okay. You need to remember, especially if you live in Europe, that Russia supplies, I think, over 25% of our energy. So we've already seen the prices of energy spike. Okay. Take a look at crude oil. It absolutely spiked recently. Let's bring it down to the 1 month. It spiked based on the news of this invasion. So this is going to impact us directly in terms of energy costs. Fuel prices are going to continue going through the roof. If you thought fuel prices were expensive, it's almost certainly going to get more expensive. And as a result, you need to make sure that you've got enough in your savings, your reserves, to make sure that your family and your loved ones are good for at least a year. All right. For at least a year. That's what I plan to do. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, but during this crisis, the worst thing you can do is have to sell out of any positions to be able to raise capital to take care of your family or whatnot. So you want to make sure that you've got enough of a cash reserve to weather this storm. Okay. So once that is out of the way and that's secured, with the money that I have left, I plan to continue to be aggressive and buy on the way down. Okay. And in terms of my buy list, top of my list is Microsoft. I've already started buying Microsoft, but if the prices continue to fall, I'll continue to buy even more. Okay. I'm going to start a position in Google. Okay. I want to add Google to my growth portfolio, especially as the prices continue to fall as a result of what's going on. I think now is the time to really focus on high quality mega caps. Okay, as they get cheaper and cheaper to own, these will be solid benchmarks for your growth portfolio. I'll also be adding Airbnb. I'll be adding Tesla. HIMS came out and reported their best quarter yet and gave us strong guidance, so HIMS is a position I'll be adding to. OfferPad reported earnings yesterday and they proved that the iBuying business model can be profitable because they reported net income, which is insane. So OfferPad is a position I'll continue to add to. OPENDOOR will be reporting earnings tonight. If earnings comes out extremely strong, which I'm very confident that it will be, I'll be adding to OPENDOOR. Big C's next week. And personally, I'm going to be aggressive. Okay. I know certain people will think, oh, it's crazy to be investing in periods like this, but now is where we're getting insane discounts. Okay. And with that said, I'm going to go into a few quotes that I have here. And all of these quotes are from the book Only the Best Will Do by Peter Salerno. A fantastic book. I've recommended it before. Definitely check it out. But essentially, right, this is it. The biggest danger that investor faces on the growth front is the potential impact of rare exogenous events outside of his control that could bring economic growth crashing to a halt. Okay, so for example, the oil prices crisis of the 1970s are an example. So in the 1970s, oil prices went absolutely insane. Inflation was through the roof. And pretty much through that entire period from the 70s to the 80s, it was bloody for the entire decade, okay? And I've already shown you the recent oil prices right now. If you zoom out, okay, so oil prices are now approaching levels that we haven't seen since 2014. And if it goes any higher, we could see ourselves in a situation where we're going back to the financial crisis in 2008, where oil prices peaked at about $140 a barrel, okay? So oil prices right now are getting out of control. We find ourselves in a similar situation. Inflation, it's going to be tough to get under control with oil prices continuing to surge. So this is the biggest danger that we face, okay? Facts. However, it's important to remember this. But if the underlying business is sound, they should be reasoning that the share price will bounce back in due course, okay? The investor should think of shares as he thinks of his house. Assuming his property is in the right location, he can be confident that over time, the value will go up, and it does not help to ring an estate agent every day to check the value. And this is quite important, okay? Two main points from this is if the underlying business is sound. So for example, earnings, right? We're seeing earnings from Airbnb. They reported their record Q4 ever. Okay. They've guided stronger. They're saying business has never been as strong as it is as travel recovers. Okay. But the share price is falling. That's a company that I plan to continue to buy more of because the underlying business remains sound. Yes, the stock is tanking because of fears going on in Russia and Ukraine. However, it's not going to impact the underlying business of Airbnb or of Microsoft or of OfferPad or of Tesla or of all of these high quality businesses. They're not going to be impacted. So as long as the underlying business remains sound, we can be confident that the share price will bounce back in due course. Okay. And the second most important part is this. You don't ring up your estate agent every day to check the value of your property. So translate this to stocks. This is the time probably to delete your Yahoo Finance apps. to delete your brokerage apps, especially if you have no intentions of buying any more. You should resign from the idea of keeping an eye on the stock, because at the end of the day, the stock is not going to go up because you're watching it. The stock doesn't know that you own it, right? So you staring at the stock price, if you don't intend to buy, you're just causing even more pain. Take time off, okay? Take time off from the markets, take time off from YouTube or, stock related YouTube. Don't even watch my channel. Don't even watch my channel if it doesn't help you, because I plan to continue buying. So I'll continue to make videos, and also with my Discord, I'll be informing my Discord of what I'm buying. But if you don't plan to buy, there's no point keeping an eye on what is going on every single day, especially if it affects your mood, okay? So if you're in my Discord and, you don't plan to buy and you can't handle this level of volatility or the fear, then leave my Discord and come back a couple of months later once all of this resolves. It's a mental game, right? This game is a mental game. And if you can't handle it, or if it's getting too much, then take a break, okay? There have been many examples of sharp, indiscriminate stock market falls that awaken fears of a bear market and accompanied by sharp rises in volatility. We're seeing the VIX spike to levels that we've not seen in a long time. Volatility is through the roof right now. So rather than making investment riskier, however, the volatility in due course will produce golden opportunities for the level-headed quality growth investor to buy more good businesses at a better price than before. Let's pull up Tesla, okay? So I remember a lot of people, once Tesla ran up to 1,200, a lot of people saying, oh, Mr. Bolt, I can't wait for Tesla to drop below $1,000, then I'll buy. We're now at 764, okay? And in pre-market, you can look at it. Tesla has now crashed another 5% and it's down to 722, all right? So Tesla's down to $722. But now people are fearful, oh, what if it drops lower? But now we have golden opportunities presenting itself for the long-term investor. People are scared. Retail investors are scared to buy. They're like, oh, what if it drops lower? Of course it can drop lower. Nobody knows how low this can go. But over the long term, these are golden opportunities, because as long as Tesla continues to produce, as long as they continue to execute, then eventually the stock will catch up to the fundamentals of the business and continue higher, okay? This is normal. However, when times of golden opportunities present itself, that's when the investor who isn't level-headed gets fearful, okay? Now is not the time to be fearful. That's how I started this video, and I mean that, okay? So volatility can often be a positive. Now, I'm going to leave you on this, okay? Short-term variation in prices can have many causes, but more often than not, these factors turn out to be either transitory or irrational, okay? And almost always irrelevant for the fortunes of the type of business that a quality growth investor owns, okay? What matters more in determining the success of an investment over time is how well the fundamentals of a business, its profits, its cash flows, its balance sheets are progressing. That's all that matters in the long term, okay? That's all that matters. And he said here, the biggest risk an investor with a long-term perspective faces is not whether the price of his shares is marked up or down tomorrow, but whether the fundamentals of the company are improving or deteriorating this year, next, and the one beyond. And I think that's so important. The biggest risk that a long-term investor faces is not share price gyration. It's whether the fundamentals of the companies that I own are improving or deteriorating. And that's all that matters to me, okay? Hence why I will be buying and owning more of these high quality businesses that I listed out earlier, because it's clear to me from the recent earnings that these companies have reported, the fundamentals, my thesis is still intact, and the company is still growing. So that's all that matters to me, all right? So like I said at the beginning of this video, now is not the time to be fearful, okay? Now we're seeing golden opportunities, and I plan to take full advantage of these opportunities because I am in this game for the long term. Exercise risk management. Ensure that you've got enough savings to take care of your family and your loved ones to weather this storm. And if you have any money left over that you don't need for the next 5 to 10 years, now are golden opportunities. Remember, it's not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you what I plan to do. Okay, so I hope you find this video incredibly valuable. I'm right here, but you can find me more often in my Discord. The Patreon link is in the description below if you do want to sign up. If not, you can find me on Twitter. You can also find me on Instagram. All the links are in the description below. But if you want direct access to me, it's going to be through Discord. That's my Discord members take the most priority. All right. So thank you so much for watching. Stay safe. Our prayers are directed straight towards people who are innocent. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.